Hello, and welcome to our next episode of the TMG Fireside Chat. I'm your host, John Mackey. In this episode, which actually is going to be a series of little mini episodes, I sit down for my annual conversation with my really good friend, John Demeter, the president of Wesco HMB. And for many of you that listen, you know John through his business. He is also the writer, editor, publisher of the Halon Herald, and he has been on this podcast each of the last 4 years. And we usually have an intro to the year, which is this series, and then we also have at some point towards the end of the year, just a kind of a check-in to see how things are going. Over the next couple days, weeks, so we're going to figure out how we drop these. We are breaking out a 1-hour conversation into a series of little mini episodes. Short form, as they say in the podcast industry. And each of these episodes are going to drop a couple times a week over the next few weeks, and we'll go from there. So hope you enjoy it. Hope you find this information useful, informative, educational, and a worthwhile listen. So from that, let's get rolling. In this episode 18.6, we talk about digital transformation and how it's evolving the industry. A lot of activity around third-party reporting, driving compliance further, especially with third-party reporting platforms, and the role that these field service management platforms play in that regard. We also talk about the future of the distribution networks. As you all know, the industry has been built on strong distribution structures from the factories, OEMs, into thousands of contractors across the United States. And with all the evolution, especially consolidation, what does that mean to the distribution network and changes in that regard? And in this episode, we actually wrap up the whole series. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to you, the listener, and sit back, enjoy your drive, wherever you might be, and enjoy the conversation.
But again, why can't we use technology to make it easier to really understand everything around?
Right. And by the way, and the other side of that technology is that go back to the AIM Act go back to briefly to Halon 1301. When Halon 13, there's a regulation on the books right now that I want to tie this in with the AIM Act. There's EPA regulation on the book right now that tells you how you have to handle Halon 1301, right? Nobody pays attention to it. And we do because it's easy for us to pay attention to it, and we're in that business. But nobody pays attention to it because no one's going to check up on it. There was never any Halon 1301 police, patrolling this marketplace. With the AIM Act and with these now our third round of regulations, we're deeply involved in the first one. We report quarterly to the EPA. All of that data is digital, gets uploaded onto a sheet, and they see all your history there. So they know. And if you don't report, and they'll challenge you. They're reading this stuff. They'll say, hey, your fourth quarter, you reported this, but in your third quarter you reported that. Can you please explain the discrepancy? And that's going on now because of technology. 1301 days, everything was handwritten. Now, everything's digital. Everything gets uploaded. And if you don't upload it when they want you to upload it, you're in trouble. So that's going to force us to pay closer attention to these or it's going to force us out of the business. It's going to say, screw it, we're not going to be in this HFC business at all.
But that's the level at the supply/recycle side. Why can't I push that up further to, like you said, okay, if it's the manufacturer of the bottle and that system, obviously no 1301, but today's newest system, it comes off the production line at that manufacturer, and there's a QR code or barcode that says, here's everything. Here's the date it was manufactured. Here's the date it was assembled. Here's the amount of gas we have in this thing. Done, number one. And just like when you buy a new car, right? Every time I take my car back to that dealership, here's your service history. I'm getting emails and texts and all this information about my car, right? And so when I take it back to the dealership, there's everything again. So what it could do, it solidifies the distributor channel for who's doing service on these systems, right? And now you create this avenue about authorized, certified service providers. It goes back to where we were 15, 20 years ago with the rigor around the distribution networks.
Yeah.
Right? But it sets the tone for who can really do this work.
Pick up any UL listed portable extinguisher, any one, and it says recharge only with Amerex dry chemical powder. Recharge only with Ansel dry powder. No one's doing that. I don't think anyone's doing that. I mean, you walk into the average distributor and say, hey, you carry 3 different brands of portables. Have you got powder for every one of them? Well, no, I get this powder from Brooks.
They're blending it all. I've seen it.
And
That's Hopper.
Right. And I think I don't mean to speak ill of them, but I think the manufacturers put that on there to cover themselves.
Absolutely.
If this thing doesn't work and the fire didn't go out, and they sift through the burned out building, and they find the Amerex unit or the Buckeye unit or the Kitty unit, they're going to find out who serviced that thing last, and did you use our powder? Because if you didn't, we're not responsible, right? I mean, that's why it's there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, all right, as you know, we can talk for hours. So, from a podcast perspective, we're going to wrap that up.
Hey, well, Joe Rogan goes for 3 hours sometimes. This isn't like a Joe Rogan show.
Yeah, but he also has how many millions of followers?
He's got a bigger audience. He probably lost him a half an hour
I think
ago.
I have 125. So, and
I always enjoy this, John.
John, I look forward to it too, and really appreciate first and foremost our friendship, the relationship we have. Always look forward to having these conversations. 2, get to hang out and have a glass of wine. Looking forward to that here. As we get ready to start the conference season.
Feelings mutual, John. I enjoy these two. Let's do it again sometime.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the TMG Fireside Chat. Hope you found that information, the discussion worthwhile and informative. Like we do with all socials, please like, follow, share on whatever platform you're watching or listening to this on. It helps to continue to get the word out and spread the network, or spread the word, if you will, and get the network wider across the industry, and for those that are interested in listening. For any notes associated with this podcast, you can find them on your listening platform, either the intro that you had for the podcast and or the notes for the YouTube channel. With that, so thank you again. Really appreciate you taking the time to listen, and we'll see you in the next round. Have a great day. Be safe.